I think there's massive opportunity for global brands, and I think the reason is that the middle class is growing exponentially, and we have our own clients, or we're seeing clients who are entering the market maybe for the first time, or are now seeing an opportunity in the Philippines because the addressable market for their products has just really increased very quickly.
If you just talk about the size of the opportunity, there definitely is a sizable one. Just look at the numbers and how people behave, and then let me just go through some facts. Our growth rate is going to hold steady for the next 3 years, so it's been estimated around 6 to 7%, which is not bad because a lot of countries in the world are slowing down.
There's probably a lighter, easier touch with regulation here because it is self-regulated. The industry polices its own borders and it disciplines its own ranks, and there's quite a well-developed system for keeping brands in line with just not making overtly disparaging or overtly competitive claims, which would sort of drag the whole industry down into disrepute. So that's for that reason, the government's tended to leave the industry a bit more alone, and it hasn't come in with sort of draconian or sort of arbitrary rules.
The Philippines is among the markets that really embraces global brands as a way to experience different cultures. And on top of that, we think that global brands have the power to change the world. So there really is much openness to brands. So just between the size and the attitude, there's definitely opportunity. Having said that, however, here's the catch. The growth here will have to be earned. It's not going to be a given to you. It will not be enough to simply show up in the market and expect that the numbers will follow. And why do I say this? A lot of people underestimate how difficult this market is. It's a lot more challenging, a lot more complicated, and a lot more competitive than it looks. For example, when you look at the retail landscape, it's hellishly complicated. There are so much competitors in every category. Pricing pressure is high. We have a consumer base that, while it's open to brands, is also very fickle. So just put all of that together, you're really going to have to earn your way into growth. Blood, sweat, and tears, and all that stuff.
You've got a median age of 23. You've got people who are highly ambitious, globalized, mobile. I mean, and by that, those do sound like buzzwords, but by that I mean that you've got people who are, you've got 10% of the population working overseas. So everyone's got someone, a relative or a friend who's overseas, and that's quite a normal thing. People will say, I have an ambition to go and work abroad.
The Filipino is full of contradictions and paradoxes. That's why he's very hard to read. For example, there's always this collision between their attitudes and the actual behavior. Right? We're communal, we're also selfish and individualistic. We're conservative on the surface, but risque on the inside. We're traditional and modern. We're shy and boisterous. So it's these contradictions that make it very difficult to read as consumers. And if you're a marketer, you have to be comfortable reading both, reading between the lines, and looking at the Filipino from different lenses, because all of those lenses are true at the same time.
Filipino family is very close, and so separation is keenly felt. So you have quite a lot of emo in the culture. You have the word for it here is hugot, which is people kind of feeling and expressing quite deep emotional feelings. So there's kind of openness, and emotional openness. There's a practical openness.
A friend of mine once described us to me as, you know what you guys are? You are Filipino. You're feeling people. I said, that's absolutely true. That's important because a lot of our decisions, our beliefs, our perceptions are shaped by our feelings. You can literally move people into action just by rousing up their feelings. And we've seen so many examples of this, from brands to elections to causes. If you know how to manipulate the emotions of Filipinos, you'll probably win in this market.
TV is still huge. TV is still, massively influential with big brand launches. Outdoor is huge. Inevitably, print is declining.
On television, the networks here in this country have put an inordinate amount of advertising load per hour. We have 18 minutes of advertising load per hour of content, the highest in the world.
The telcos initiated the free basics thing, which ran into so much trouble in India, was sort of warmly embraced here, and there is free Facebook, which actually can get without even any data on your phone. So there is a sort of what's called Facebook Flex, which gives you Facebook without pictures, but literally for free, literally without any data on your phone at all. So you can have $1 on your phone, and you can have as much Facebook as you like. So that's causing it's a huge play, and it's making massive inroads.
Everybody assumes that with the rise of the internet and mobile devices, TV viewing will go down. It hasn't. In fact, for some demographics, it's actually increased. The amount of time they spend and the frequency by which they do it, the TV network's pricing is going up.
For Google, the challenge is that people tend to ask their friends questions rather than ask Google questions. So they'll go and post, what's the tallest mountain in the world, rather than ask Google. And whatever their friends will say is kind of what they believe, which has led to further challenges around the area of fake news and all that.
You have to win the head and the heart. This is not a choice. While Filipinos are pragmatic, as I said earlier, they're also very emotional people. Win the head and the heart.
True stories, apocryphal stories, archetypal stories of around all these family themes and around overcoming obstacles and achieving success. These are the mainstay.
You've got to get the Filipino involved in your marketing. I think in many ways the Filipino is possibly the best medium for a brand to have. We're very engaged, we're highly social, we talk to people, we've got a global network because there's a Filipino in every corner of the world. So if you can get them involved, you have an incredible medium that has a strong multiplier effect.
There are a lot of things that are left unsaid, and a lot of and if you find yourself saying something that hasn't been said before, it's probably worth working out why.
There's a difference between what we think as individuals versus what we think is cool with society. And so in general, avoid the topics that might be contentious in a public sphere. So obviously politics, religion, or anything that has divided beliefs, like for example, views on contraception, etc. So in those cases, steer away from the public venue, because even if people do agree with you, it will not be easy for them to side with you.
People tend not to like disparaging, and they tend to want people to speak positively about what they do rather than necessarily knock the others.
Within specific categories, there are regulatory bodies and codes of conduct. For example, if you're into pharmaceuticals, very extensive. If you're into milk, very extensive. If you're into trade promotions, there's also there's at least 20 categories with their own rules of conduct.
There is, in general, quite a lot of tolerance and diversity and openness in the market. In several, it's almost a trend to have sort of gay love stories in commercials, or to have unusual or unconventional relationships being showcased. Almost to the point where it's now quite banal. It's like, oh, not another gay love story idea, because that's been, we've seen a number of those, and what's next? So we shall see.